You're probably living life like a coward. And before you click off because I insulted you, just hear me out. What do cowards do? Cowards are afraid and they, try to prevent things from happening. Like they try to flee whatever they have to face. And you are a coward because what you have to face is, reality and real life. And how you're escaping from it is through being on social media, through even listening to music. And now you're saying probably chances are you're on self-improvement and you think that you're spending your time well because you're constantly just watching educational videos or listening to podcasts or just listening to to just some music that motivates you when you ride to by bike to the gym to work out or whatever, because that's what I used to do, and I've just only recently started to not doing that anymore. And the reason is that what I realized, and I've come across this concept that you've seen in the title, which is raw dogging life. And maybe you've seen a Gideon video. He oftentimes wears this t-shirt, like professional raw dog. And raw dogging life is basically just, being in life without any distractions, without like even reading a book or whatever. For example, if you're raw dogging life on an airplane, you're just sitting there for like 8 hours, the entire flight, just sitting there, not reading, not watching anything, not listening to anything, not writing on anything, just sitting there thinking. And that is like, that's almost like you can't even imagine how hard that is. But that used to be normal. People, they didn't have any distractions, but nowadays it's like you can just, like 1 second off your phone is like hard and you have to think like, fuck, what do I do? So you just constantly grab your phone or just go to your PC, listen to music. And I catch myself doing that a lot as well. Just listening to music without even like wanting to do it, just because I don't like the silence, because I'm basically afraid of reality in a way. So I'm living like a coward as well. So what I want you to do is with me, we're together on this journey on trying to become a better person and, trying to fix our lives. And I think a huge part of that is getting away from these stimulations, these constant stimulations. And I've recently just started doing that, not listening to music anymore that often. Just going to work out without any music, without headphones, just alone basically, just me alone with my thoughts. And you might say at the start it's like, it feels weird because, you feel like you're bored, but what you quickly realize is that once you give yourself like a few minutes and your brain like realizes that it has time to think now, you're not getting bored. And the reason is that you're constantly like stimulated, so your brain needs like some time to think about like the things that matter to you, because you just don't give your brain any time to do that. And this constant numbing, this leads to a miserable existence. And I think like this is the main reason why people are lonely nowadays. I don't think it has anything to do like with the with the fucked up dating market or whatever. I think it's genuinely just because of this, of how we're living. Like how can you be happy living when you aren't even living? And what I mean by that is that all the things that, for example, birds chirping or the wind, all these things you hear and see and all that, we're not even noticing that because we're constantly distracted. So how can we even be happy living, like if we're not even living? So commuting, maybe to work or school, to the gym or whatever, without your phone, without any music, just you alone and with the strangers on the train or bus or whatever. It can be very uncomfortable, especially at the start, and for socially awkward people, let's call them that. But it leads to such a greater self-awareness. And the reason that this is so fucking important is because this, escapism, let's call it that, escaping from reality by distracting ourselves, actually leads to loneliness in a big scale. And we very often miss opportunities, for connection, for connecting with people because of that. Let me tell you a story. So a few months ago, I was in the gym with a friend. Then he left a bit earlier, and I didn't, put on my headphones and started blasting music. I saw this very beautiful woman. Didn't have any music or podcast in my ears, so I was alone with my thoughts. So what happened is that my brain constantly started, annoying me and telling me to go approach her, do something before she goes. And I did, and it actually ended up working. We went on a few dates and it didn't work out, but if I hadn't raw dogged the rest of the workout, this would never have happened, because we're constantly just, we're shutting down our brain basically. Our brain can't even talk to us and tell us what to do, what the right thing to do is. And the right thing there to do was to go and approach her. And if I had music or podcast in my ears, I would have never, gotten that thought. So this numbing of our experiences, it contributes to feelings of disconnection and isolation, even if we're with people. You probably know that loneliness isn't the same as being alone. Lots of people are not alone. They're in groups. They have friends, maybe not the best friends or whatever, but they have friends. And I had friends too when I was depressed, but having friends doesn't mean you can't be lonely. Everybody knows that. So I think the solution to this loneliness is to start detaching from this life full of stimulation. That's what I was going to say. Because all this stimulation is not doing us any good, really. After, the past few weeks, after having, raw dogged most of my workouts, what I realized is that before, I was always a bit bored, didn't really enjoy the workouts that much, and I was not present at all. But when I was raw dogging the workout, without headphones or whatever, not being on my phone, what happened is that, I had this huge urge to just go and approach people and talk to people, not women, just guys there in the gym as well. So I started, making some new friends. I started, just not actively trying to make friends, but just approaching some guy and asking him for a spot on the bench set or whatever. These very simple and minor things, but these all make you so much more, let's call it socially happy. I feel like this is this is the opposite to loneliness. So this basically kills loneliness. A thing that is really important, I think, especially if you care about, approaching women and being a social person, I guess, is the concept of being socially looped up. I know that may sound a bit weird, but it's something I heard from an older Hamza video. It's basically just that, before he and his friend went out to party, what they did was they met with some more friends and, of course, also drank a bit before that, but just started talking and being social and all that, so that they were, socially looped up before approaching women, to get in this open and talking, state of mind, let's call it that. And this happens automatically when you start raw dogging life, because like I said, when you raw dog life, you just start to approach more people, you talk to more people, you're more social. So when you see this nice lady in the gym, it's gonna be a lot easier to approach her than if you wore headphones for an hour before then, haven't spoken a single word. And the reason I know that that social lubrication is a thing is because as I'm recording this video, I struggle quite a bit with talking. And that's because Like, for the past 5 or 6 hours I've been home alone and I haven't talked to anyone. If I talked to a few friends before making this video, it would be so much easier for me. So social lubrication is a thing, it exists. Trust me. Now, I'm sure that I've convinced you how important it is, and I don't want to just leave you with that. I want to challenge you to spend at least one day, but if you're up for the challenge, do 1 week without distractions. So what do I mean by without distractions? I mean is no phone or no music when commuting. No music, no phone in the gym. Like, you can track your workouts or whatever, but like, no distractions when commuting. No distractions in the gym. Then also just try to reduce your overall phone use during the day. And maybe what I think is really good, because I tried that out as well, and it worked quite well, is also just going on walks or something like that and just not taking your phone with you at all. Like, just you in, nature, talking to people or whatever. And I guarantee you, I promise you, like, if you haven't already tried something like this out, it will change your life. Like, I know this change your life gets thrown around, a bit often, but it definitely does, because like I said, probably you're not really living life right now, and that might be the cause. So if you do what I told you to do, which I hope you do, because it's going to help you a lot, then I'm very, very certain that if you're depressed or whatever, that's going to be a lot better, it's going to improve. Or just if you, try to be a more social person, you're going to improve on that as well. And also, just happiness in general is going to be higher if you raw dog life. Like, it's pretty simple. So do that. Report back how it went. And with that said, I hope you learned a lot, and take care.